This is the Remote Work-Life Business Spotlight, where I highlight top remote business innovators and share personal and career development tips to help you navigate the world of remote work. I'm your host, Alex Wilson-Campbell. I help remote work managers, professionals and freelancers overcome isolation and uncertainty in their life to get hired and fulfill their career goals. Today on the Business Spotlight, I am putting the spotlight on a company that I've not heard of before, I have to admit, a company called Kalypso. And Kalypso is spelt with a K. And if you go across to my YouTube channel, you'll be able to see what I can see right now as I begin to have a look at the website, as I begin to have a look through the different pages that are of interest to me as part of this particular podcast. And if you want to have a look at Kalypso, go across to kalypso.com. And like I said, Kalypso is not a company that I'm familiar with. I'm on the homepage, and it says we deliver digital transformation. And it goes on to say, at Kalypso, we focus on the digital transformation of the value chain from the product to the plant to the end user. This means leveraging digital technologies and capabilities to fundamentally change the way companies discover, create, make and sell new products. We help our clients accelerate digital transformation with the digital thread. So that gives you a real basic understanding about what they do, about who they are. And as I said, the spotlight, the business spotlight or the remote business spotlight is all about focusing on and understanding a bit more and putting the spotlight on remote companies. And like I said, I've not come across Kalypso before, so I'm not 100% sure to what degree their team and their people work on a remote basis, because on the pictures that I see now, it looks very much like there's a lot of in-person activity, so to speak. So I don't know if that reflects what they do as a whole, but I'm just having a look now in a bit more. I'm just clicking on where it says what we do, and it goes, I'm going to click across to where it says overview. And as I mentioned before, it says we deliver digital transformation across the value chain. As a business term, digital transformation is overused and misunderstood, they say. Here's how we define it, and it goes on to define digital transformation. I won't read all of that, but I think you begin to get an idea as to what they do. They say accelerate digital transformation with the digital thread, deliver top-line growth, improve operational excellence, enable risk mitigation. So the areas that they specialize in are consulting, data science and AI, digital and enterprise technology and managed services. So do any of those apply to you? Do you have a specialist area in any of those particular areas? If so, then yeah, Kalypso could be one for you to at least begin to do some of your research and your due diligence. And again, I'm looking for a bit more about Kalypso and their background. I mean, what they talk about quite a lot, as you've probably come to understand through what I've said so far, is what they do. It's not so much about why, but what they do. Here they talk about who we are, so an overview of who they are. So let's have a look at that, because I'm always interested to see, when I'm doing my research, I'm always interested to see and understand the backstory, especially when it comes to remote businesses. And again, as I said, I don't know to what degree the Kalypso teams work remotely. I'm going to have a look at the careers page in a little while to see and try and understand if I can find out a bit more. So here I am now on the Who Are We page, and it says Kalypso was born out of a rebellion in Houston, so based in America. Our founders, tired of doing things the old way, started a firm to radically alter the consulting landscape with a mission to deliver on the promise of innovation. We have lived and breathed innovation since expanding our services to meet our clients' evolving needs along the way. And in 2020, We joined Rockwell Automation to deliver the strategies, software, hardware, and analytical expertise to address our clients' most pressing needs and ambitious goals. So again, something of a backstory there. Doesn't go too much into the people. And when you look at this website for yourself, you'll see it's very much around, again, what they do as opposed to who they are. You don't really get a feel for the team, what the team does, etc. when you look through the website. And as I said, this is just really to put a spotlight on what they do more than really dig deep into who they are. But it would be nice, I think, to be able to see that through the different pages. As I go a bit further down, actually, we do see a few images. It says here, the story of Kalypso is the story of its people. So they begin to talk about their people briefly. But again, no real sort of spotlight on anybody in particular. I'm going back now to where it says who we are, and I'm going to the leadership section to see if I can find out more. And here at last we begin to see some of the people behind the business. But again, it's mainly just the leadership team, which is fine. But it talks about the different industries that they work in, the capabilities, the regions that they work in. But it's very much to do with the leadership team and what they do. So you've got regional directors, you've got regional managing directors, you've got practice leaders, you've got what else do you have? You've got people like who are in marketing, you've got commercial people, you've got finance people. So an array of different people across the business. And finally, I'm just going to wrap up. I just want to have a quick look to see, as I mentioned before, I'm not sure to what extent they operate on a remote basis. Although they do say, what they say here is, we've never wanted to be a typical firm and we're not looking for typical people. Fine, that's good. There is a section here which says virtual with purpose. And it says, as a virtual firm, we are intentionally designed to make things happen anywhere. So that's something that leads to and points to remote work. We're powered by our global workforce, local on the ground teams, and location-based innovation centres. But what I really wish, right, and this is just as a general point to anybody who is advertising roles or doing the copy for their websites, is to really be clear on how the business operates from the standpoint of, is it hybrid? Is it remote? To what degree are you remote? Are you remote first? Are you fully remote? We need some clear definitions on what you are, what you do, how you work, so that the people, generally job seekers, I guess, can be clear on that. Because it's what that does, it trickles down then when I look across to the careers section, that trickles through to the actual copy on the jobs. There's not necessarily clarity on how each individual role works, whether it's a remote role, whether it's a hybrid role, whether it's a, do you see what I mean? So there needs to be, for me, this is just a general thing, it's not necessarily aimed at Kalypso, but generally speaking, there needs to be a lot more clarity, because then people can understand a bit better. But when I look through Kalypso's jobs here, there is a mixture of remote. They say there are jobs that are labelled as remote, and there's jobs that don't necessarily have a label. So again, it leads me to understand that it's not a fully remote or remote first business. But again, I may be wrong. But the general areas, the general categories that they look to hire in are professional services, marketing and sales, and business management and administration. So those are the three main groups. So if any of those apply to you, then you should get across and have a look at the Kalypso website to understand for yourself. So some of the remote roles that they have at the time of recording this were in, let's see, senior management, distribution and logistics, an intern MBA, analyst role, technical consultant. So a few remote roles, but again, it's not 100% clear. Let me just click into one of those roles to see what it looks like in terms of how it reads. I'm not going to go into detail, but let's have a look just quickly at the job description to see what degree this role is. I mean, again, it's just labeled as remote, but doesn't really go into detail as to the expectation. It's more, the job description is more centered and sort of focused on the job and what that person would be doing, as opposed to how they'd be working and where they'd be working. So yeah, just some clarity is always good when it comes to job adverts and copy on websites. So yeah, have a look at Kalypso. It's definitely got potential. Have a look at kalypso.com, and I will see you next time on the Remote Work Life Business Spotlight. That's it for today's episode of the Remote Work Life podcast. Click the link in the show notes below to access a free list of 100 remote businesses that hire regularly. And if you're feeling stuck or uncertain on issues of career or personal development, head on over to www.remoteworklife.io, where you can watch exclusive on-demand video featuring real-world remote work leaders and future of work experts on key remote work topics, including how to get clarity on your career direction, how to thrive while working remotely, how to network effectively and stay connected, and how to tend to your personal and career development needs. Go to remoteworklife.io now, and remember to connect with me, your host, Alex Wilson Campbell, on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook.